Right. Anxiety. So, like, what is anxiety? Anxiety, I think I would describe it as the fear of things that are out of your control. So, if I can give some examples, death, um, uncertainty, other people's behavior, other people's feelings about you or about anything else. Time is also something that we do not control. The future, we can't control the future. Um, what else? But I mean, yeah, I mean, basically, just like certain things which, as a human being, no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you work, they will always be out of your control. You'll always find yourself being unable to control them in the end. Um, and I feel like that's where anxiety comes from. Anxiety comes from our realization that we cannot control these things. So we obsess about their outcome, hoping that, something bad won't happen. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. A way that I usually like to, or used to, not like to. I don't like doing it. But I guess I said like to in the sense that like it was something that became such a strong habit within myself. But I would constantly like imagine scenarios and daydream, like, I think I made a video about it on TikTok, and I was speaking about like maladaptive daydreaming, when you're like here in the now, but you're living in a like literally in a different times, like you're time traveling. You're either living in the past or you're living in the future, and you're like trying to control your past or control your future by reenacting or acting, imagining the future, basically. So that's one thing. That's a habit like that is like just it's fucking Bruce Willis, man. It's Die Hard. It's intense. But it's getting much better. I'm more in touch with myself these days. Yeah, yeah. It's not easy, but it is worth it, and it is kind of easy in a sense because they're my emotions, and you know, I don't know. I guess just accepting and acknowledging and validating that they are there and they're not out of place has helped me to deal with them better. So I mean, maybe that's the next point I should move on to. Like, how do we heal from anxiety? Well, I think one thing that really has been helping me so far is that number one, I stopped looking at anxiety as a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to have an emotion like anxiety. All emotions on the emotional scale are good. None of them are bad. And I think you would find that with the positive emotions and negative emotions, one cannot exist without the other. It's just like, how can we know joy if we do not know despair or depression or sadness? How can we know peace if we do not know chaos? Like, just like these things, they work in together, they're in harmony. So it's good to feel both ends of the spectrum because it helps you find the true place, I guess, of where you are, who you are in this current point in time. And that's not to say that you are your emotions, but it is to say that your emotions are an indicator. It's like alarm systems, they're like a guidance system in terms of telling you, like, just how aligned you are with yourself. And yeah, I guess basically just how aligned you are with yourself. I don't want to just overcomplicate it and say too many words. I have a tendency of just but yeah, that's basically what the value of all your emotions are, even your anxiety, which is why I say anxiety is a good thing. So, like, yeah, don't be like, oh my gosh, I'm anxious. Why is it happening? It's just like, no, it's good. This is information. Okay, this is not a reflection of who I am or what my reality is. It's It's nothing but a fragment. It's nothing but a piece of the puzzle out of everything else. Your emotions are just telling you what your thoughts are doing. Which brings me to the next point. Your anxiety is the things you're anxious about are is evidence of things that you need to let go of. Like you need to let go of trying to control these things, the outcome of these things. So whenever you have anxiety about something, just see it as like evidence of something that you don't have to worry about. Like I remember there was this one time I was traveling to town for something, I forgot what. And I remember feeling quite anxious on that day, but also understanding that I didn't have to and that everyone had something to be anxious about. And I was wondering like how to get control of my thing. And I met this guy, this old guy. He was doing some like random shit for his family. I don't know, but I could tell like he was on a mission and he wasn't like worried about anyone else. And like I ended up having just a bit of a conversation with this man. And one thing I took from everything that we spoke about, because I was speaking about like stress and anxiety and things I'm going through, and I feel overwhelmed. And he was just telling me like, hey man, like just don't let stress you out. It's just like don't let whatever is anxious keep on making you anxious. Like if you see something is making you anxious, just be like, oh no, that's just a that's I don't know, like whenever you see something that is making you anxious, instead of obsessing over it and wanting to control it, rather just be like, well, this is something for the universe to handle. Well, this is something for life to unfold on its own. It's not for me to touch. It's like trying to force a flower to grow, or you plant a seed today and then you're stomping on the ground and you're hoping it yields like a million crops. And it's just like there's many aspects of reality that we have no control over. And the moment we try to control these aspects, that's when these emotions step in, the anxiety. And there's also other emotions that can step in as a result of you trying to control things that are outside of your control. But this video is about anxiety. Yeah, I hope that made sense. If you want to have more control over your emotions, you need to allow them to exist first, validate them, and show gratitude. So it's good. So I guess basically to kind of summarize that, pay attention to your feelings. Like pay attention to what you're feeling at all times in the day, because it's like the most accurate indicator of who you are, where you are, why you are, and what you're supposed to be doing now. It's just like your emotions will tell you everything you need to know about where you're trying to go and who you're trying to be and who you have been and who you are now. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that there. Your positive emotions cannot exist without your negative emotions. I think I did say this before, but I just want to emphasize on this point that it like all of our emotions are good, whether you're angry, whether you're sad, depressed, whether you're happy, whether you're filled with joy, or whether you're like, I don't know, feeling appreciation or peace or contentment or hopefulness even. Um, One thing, so as I've been like reading on trauma and just trying to work throughout my own trauma, which is it's a process, it's a lengthy one, and I have to remind myself every day that um like I'm on a healing journey. And yeah, sometimes I will have emotions that are not necessarily such a positive experience, but I I don't I criticize myself less these days whenever I feel negative emotions like anxiety or like even paranoia. I criticize myself less because I acknowledge and recognize that okay, these emotions are they're visiting me because there are things within myself, within my vibrational mix, within all the thoughts that I've had that basically make up everything that I am. All the experiences that I've had, all the different contrasting situations that I've had with people and situations that have just informed me about who I am and what I want in this life. Like the reason why, I feel like we can't experience positive emotions without negative ones is because, like, I don't know. It's just like everything in life needs a balance. Like there must always be like a, you know, like I don't know, like yeah, like balance. It's always about balance. You can't always be happy. You can't always be calm. You can't always be like, yeah, on top of the world. No, like sometimes you'll feel the world is on top of you, and sometimes, yeah, but really, it's none of those states are like, what? None of those states are like final. Basically, none of your emotions or your thoughts or your experiences is like the final version of who you are. It's just a stage. It's like a stage of consciousness that you're going through. And if you will just allow yourself to go through it and to feel it, feel if you're feeling suicidal, if you will just allow yourself to feel suicidal and like just like be be curious about yourself, be curious about your emotions and your thoughts, and instead of looking at them with judgment, look at them like an observer, watching a flower grow. Like I said, you can't force a flower to grow. And uh, you would probably observe the flower growing better if you left it alone and not try to like touch and interfere with it. So it's kind of like what emotions are, and like passing thoughts as well that may cause you anxiety. Like they're not there forever. So it's good to feel everything. It's good to bask and just like be in everything that is happening within you, and just be like, okay, yeah, this is me. I see that, yes, this is valid. Validate yourself, validate your existence, validate your emotions. I also want to add, I was speaking about the book on trauma, and I want to add that this book I'm reading is called The Homecoming by John Bradshaw, and he speaks about toxic shame, and how in a lot of families there's a culture of toxic shame, and basically one of the negative effects toxic shame has on in within a dysfunctional family is that people in that dysfunctional family, whenever they're feeling any kind of emotion, there's a level of shame attached to that emotion. Which is why, like, so for me, for example, I don't know if anyone of you can relate. Like, I would struggle so much with having a good time or like being happy or like actually enjoying myself because I felt shame for enjoying myself. I felt shame for having fun and having things that I like and having things that I don't like, because I was raised in a family system where I wasn't allowed to have feelings. I wasn't allowed to have anxiety. I wasn't allowed to be angry. I wasn't allowed, like, there was many things I just was not allowed to be, but basically I was just not allowed to be myself. And your emotions are the primus, it's like the most primary way. It's the most sophisticated sense you have in terms of your immediate reality. And I guess it's the most immediate place you have access to the truest part of you in every single moment. Again, you're not your emotions, but they can help you find yourself. Your feelings really can help you find yourself. You've just got to learn to feel them. Don't think, feel. You know. Um, yeah, pretty much. All states come and go, and nothing lasts forever. So even your own life, one day you're not going to be able to have anxiety anymore. Like you'll be dead. Like one day, like it's just gonna be like, oh, no more anxiety, no more chance to calm down your anxiety, no more chance to like look back and say I had anxiety. Like one day it's just like you'll be dead. You won't even be happy. You can't be happy. You can't even smile. You can't even think about smiling or think about anxiety or think about things that are out of your control. So, and I'm not trying to like put death into your mind, but what I am trying to make you realize is that like nothing is here forever. Not even you, like we're all gonna die one day. And it's just like even when you die, you like by fire, by force, you're gonna have to let go of everything. And most people only let go of a lot of these experiences that we're supposed to be letting go of. Most people really only let go by the time they die. But it's just like in this life, and I feel like what this life is for really is it's an invitation for us to continuously be on the journey of self-discovery, continuously letting go of the parts of ourselves that no longer serve us, that we feel like we need so much. I feel like that's what this life experience is for. And you know what, my idea or belief could change. Even 30 seconds from now or next year, I could be thinking something different. And that's the whole point. Nothing is stable and there is nothing that's forever, and everything is always changing. Even you're always changing and you're never the same person. And your emotions are never a true reflection of who you are. The one that is witnessing the emotion happening and the one that sees the emotion come and go and play and stuff like that, that's who you really are. The one that's seeing it. So you must learn to just detach yourself from the anxiety that you're feeling and understand that, okay, I am feeling anxious, but I also understand that this anxiety that I'm feeling is only happening because there are things in my mind, thoughts that I'm having, certain patterns of belief and identity and habits of perception that I'm using that is causing this experience within me. But none of this is actually me, and I can change it. I do have that power. And you do have that power. I have that power. We all have that power. And it's just about taking your power back. Like, that's it. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to tell anyone. You don't have to advertise it to anyone. It's for you. It's for you. It's for you. Just like it's for every other single person. But most people don't know. Hooray, it's for them. We don't know that we have choice. But yeah, all of these emotions, all of these thoughts, all of these experiences, all of these happening situations, state of being, state of mind, psychosis, anxiety, depression, whatever, all of these things are just visitors. They're just visiting you. They're here to tell you something. Look to your orb for the warning. Okay? It's all here. This is all you need. There's nothing outside of you. And I mean, I'm not saying like, don't do anything outside of you and like don't look for things on. It's just like I'm not saying, you must let go of, you have to quit certain things and you have to do all of this. No, it's just like you just have to see things inside yourself and just see that the things coming up inside yourself are not you. They're just happening. It's just things that are happening. I hope that I'm explaining it in a way that is helping you to really apply it like right now. Um, of course, I'm also like on a journey of learning to unlearn my these patterns of thought and resistance that I've built up in my vibrational mix. But I guess we're all figuring it out at the end of the day. No one knows. No one knows a thing. No one knows what's happening. No one knows. But yeah, anxiety.